Everybody, welcome back to the Bears Den. How is everyone doing today, guys? Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. It's Tuesday, it's talk show time. So, we've got quite a lot of fun things going on. I found a couple literally yesterday, and then today I found another one. So, we keep finding news right up to the very last moment, it seems. It either just falls in our laps, or it's something that just catches our eye and we dig into it a little bit. So, regardless, it's all for your guys' benefit. Seriously. You guys don't have to go through all the garbage of ads and whatnot on some of these gaming news sites, because that's what we do. We go through all of that so you guys don't have to. Just come here, hang out. It's fun. We talk shit, we hang out, crack jokes, have some beers, or some other drinks, whatever's on hand, and have a good time all in all. Talk about video games, talk about things going on in the video game industry. It's fun. But for now, guys, we're getting ready. He's like getting ready here, so we're gonna be starting up in just a bit. I'm all good. I'm just gonna keep him muted though for the moment, just because he's, I'm guessing, taking care of his dog. But Blue, how are you doing? Hope things are going well for you today. As far as things coming up in the week here, tomorrow may or may not be a stream. If I do stream, it's probably going to be Dark Souls 3 Convergence mod again, because I'm having a blast playing it. I really am. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Blue. Thank you for being here. Really means a lot. Because I mean, hey, we try and be fun and entertaining. Cool is looking good. Yeah. He's looking pretty good here. Unfortunately, it's also freezing cold where he is in Orlando. I believe it's Orlando. Now, when you say freezing cold, it's freezing cold for Orlando area. So, yeah. But, alrighty.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
Cold. That's how I'm doing. I'm fucking cold.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's all good. Is what it is. I like let the dog out. You know, he just goes and does his business, but that means I have to leave the door open.
Oof.
I haven't felt my fingers in like 2 hours. I'm like, where is the heat? Like, I'm gonna have to like build one of those hobo like barrels with the flames that you always see in like, you know,
nice
brawlers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, how about you?
Going pretty good. Work so far this week has been decent. Nothing stressful. Matter of fact, I'm actually getting things less stressful, hopefully.
Nice.
Assuming some of the code that I threw in the build process works.
Great. That's excellent to hear.
Then it will work automatically.
Ooh, yes, automation. That is the key of the future, man.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I will say this up and down the block. The company that I think is furthest along in the automation process. Now, the only company I don't actually know the interior workings of as well, obviously, would be Activision Blizzard, but EA's automation department is fan-fucking-tastic. They have specific dedicated guys who are always writing scripts every day, 365, to run. And if you don't know, automation basically makes it easier for QA guys because programs are taught to go through these paths within games and programs in general, to test for failures, which are breakpoints. And it really just takes the stress off of both the engineer because they can run automation before they put the code in, and just lets QA have a little bit of breathing room where they don't have to. They know, like, oh yeah, this is just going to be okay. Fantastic technology, needs to be utilized more, way more.
Yep.
But
very,
yeah,
very much so. Especially considering how once automation even begins to get up and running, that then gives more time back to QA in general.
Right. Right. So
Because
yes,
they
you're
can
hiring an
test
engineer.
more stuff.
That's right. Yes, more edge case stuff that a CPU will not be able to figure out. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
the human element will never be removed. That's just a fact.
Mhm.
But yes, you have to hire another engineer to write those scripts. But since they are so useful in every product that you make, there's just no reason not to do it ostensibly.
Yep.
So yeah, I always tote automation, and you usually have an automation QA guy as well embedded.
Yep. Very true.
So that was a fun little fucking beginning.
Hey, we're both from a QA background, so
That is true.
why not tout our successes where we can?
Mm-hmm. And it gives like some legitimacy too, right? Like,
Yeah.
dude, we've been in the industry, like,
Oh yeah.
you know, for better or worse.
True. Very true.
I have 10 things this week that I would like to talk about. Some with more and some with less importancy. But you were saying that you had a good one to start with.
Oh
And I
yeah.
love that.
Good one is an understatement.
Okay. Then I am so very in.
Because we're not just like ripping off the band-aid on this one. We're like ripping off the band-aid that leads into the leg waxing on
Good God.
on Bigfoot. So yeah, we're just going all the way with it here.
All right, let's do it.
Final Fantasy VII had a remake recently. So in
Mhm.
other words, get some nice pretty high definition graphics and all that fun jazz. Usually when something gets really big hyped, well, the internet loves to take that hype and
Rule
sit there
34,
and say,
baby. Rule 34. It always gets Rule 34. Remember when fucking Overwatch hadn't even come out yet and Overwatch took over Pornhub?
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
That's
That's exactly where we're going.
Yes, I knew it. Okay.
But it gets even worse. There's a porn of Tifa in the
Italian?
act. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently during a live, like on here in the States, we have C-SPAN for political like 24/7 news. On a live Zoom call in the Italian Senate, so their version of it would be Senato TV.
Mhm.
One guy started talking, and then all of a sudden it cuts. And the way Zoom works is like right now we're using Discord, so it's slightly different. It shows us side by side. But if we're in Zoom, if someone shares their screen, everybody is shoved over to one side, and the screen share takes up like the whole thing. So for the better part of a couple of minutes, it took.
Oh my God.
Yes. For like a minute or so, it was sound and video. And it took him about a minute or so to figure out, oh, hey, I'm apparently sharing a porno right now live on TV to the rest of the Italian Senate. And it wasn't until someone in the meeting started screaming sex offender or something like that. Yeah, something horrible, just to like kind of get his attention. And it's just like, okay, what's going on?
3D hentai lady, back it down a notch, all right?
Yeah. But then on top of it, he killed the video feed, but the audio was still being shared.
Zoom stocks either went up a shit ton or down a shit ton in that exact moment.
So finally, they actually cut the audio from it as well.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
So.
Sex offender. I will say this. I don't know. I'm big into the meme culture. This has been floating since then that Tifa is now confirmed as Italian. So I've seen a ton of Rule 34 stuff where she's wearing a wet t-shirt, but it's, the Italian flag over her teats.
Of course.
Very nice. Very, very well done, internet. And hey, I'm cool with that. Like, that's kind of funny. Like, what a funny fucking way to have that happen.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
See,
that's good stuff.
now you know why it's explained that Tifa is Italian.
Oh, I knew. Oh, I knew. I just wanted you to explain it because I'm always the one who's always like, I got weird, pervy stories to talk about. I wanted to not always be the guy who's like, I want to talk about sex pest things like minute 3 in us doing this every week. Yeah, no, that is pretty funny though. And honestly, like, I don't want to say I get it on that guy's part, but like, man, why was that running in the background? Like, open another browser.
Let
You know what I'm
alone,
saying?
let alone on probably his state-sanctioned
Right.
like laptop or something. Why would
Right.
you do that on that kind of a thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
That's just, and you're gonna screw over a bunch of other sex pests who were wanting to watch porno. Now they're gonna have to put down like hard firewalls all over everybody's. You know what I'm saying? Like, that guy's fucked it up for everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
Thick Italian sausages. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Good stuff.
But
yeah,
like I
see?
said, we were gonna rip the Band-Aid right off, and we did.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And then
it's one of the
some.
things. One of the things we're good at. So I want to talk about this dice thing. This yet another debacle about fucking 2041.
Yeah.
Did you see that they had a new mode come out?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And did you see that that mode only was there for about 12 minutes before it got pulled?
Yep.
So I'll a little bit more background. Dice launched Zombie Survival, which essentially is a horde mode. Cool stuff. It's actually also done by, and this I kind of thought was a little interesting. It's actually done by Dice LA.
Okay.
So Dice LA does a lot of support work for modes and shit, kind of the way that Sledgehammer initially did stuff for Activision Blizzard.
Okay. Yep.
And launched, and instantaneously people were like, wow, you get a crazy amount of XP here. So within I think it was like 2 hours, they were like, oh, okay, turning the servers on. How did you, like, so this is like a base testing thing again. Like, this is a base testing. How was this not picked up on by the testers? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems crazy to me that once again, something that like should have been easy peasy lemon squeezy found, honestly, frankly, and I'll say this, dude, I don't even give a shit. I'm a fucking designer. This should have been found by the designer even before it even got to QA.
Yeah.
Like, the designer should have, put his new Excel chart in. Excel chart pulls now from that data. You've already got the build with the zombies mode. How is it like you finish a round and you notice that you got, let's call it 100,000 fucking XP, and you don't go, well, that's going to be bad for everything else that this system touches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just like, I will use the word slapdash. That is some slapdash shit right there. Yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, thought that was pretty crazy.
That, and I also heard another thing in regards to the zombie mode. The AI was apparently extremely basic.
Yeah.
Because like you could run up to and jump on a car, not in, on, and the zombies would just like run up to the car and sit there. Like,
right.
It's like, shouldn't you be trying to like at least swipe your arms at me or something? But
or even each swipe does X amount of damage to the vehicle, so then a vehicle could explode.
Yeah.
Like, that would be acceptable. There's a lot of answers there, and this is just another one of these things where it's like, dude,
how did this get
through? Like,
not really just get past QA, but get past like devs as well.
Right. because this is like one of those instances where, um, like if you don't work in the industry, you have no idea how many checks and balances they put into the system. It's like
Mhm.
300 people up. That means let's even say 20 of those people
I swear to
of the
God, I'll pistol
300
whip the next
actually know
guy
what
that
the hell's
does
going on the
shenanigans.
floor. Those one of those 20 people should have been like, yeah, this is wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
One of them should have caught that. And this is on top of the already diarrhea Sunday that you fucking had, you know?
Very
Like
true.
with the launch, like you would think that like you would be okay. Whoo, we got to be way more careful. Like
Mhm.
with all we would try to like rebuild our reputation here. Nope. Fucking ugh, whatever.
Keep digging. Let's make it even worse, kind of a thing.
Right.
Just
That's
back
right.
it up right to the back end of the cow.
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, so good job, fucking dice. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. Um, wow. That that makes this next one, this next follow up that I've got is really good as well.
Okay.
Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
There was I don't want to say recent exploit found, because it was apparently
We
originally
can go
found
into that, yeah.
like almost a decade ago. Apparently, the original version of it was. But needless to say, what was recently reported, and which is why the Dark Souls servers for uh, remastered Scholars of the First Sin and Dark Souls 3, the reason why they're brought offline, as well as the soon to be Prepare to Die edition servers, all being brought offline for PC. Consoles are fine. It's PC that those servers were brought offline. It's because there was a remote control execution or exploit discovered, and the guy that first notified apparently FromSoft, and FromSoft was like, you don't know what you're talking about. So he then decided, okay, fine. You say I don't know what I'm talking about. Found a streamer that was big enough in the community to make waves should something need to be taken care of. Either was someone summoned in, or he PvP'd into that person's world and immediately took advantage of that remote control exploit just to
RCE.
show it's there.
Right.
Not to do any sort of malicious attack on the person individual. But effectively what he wound up doing was he just crashed the person's game, which was a streamer by the name of Grim something like that. I forget exactly.
It's Grim Streamer because I remembered it was like Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he crashed his game and then had a PowerShell file read off through the stream announcement. Apparently some meme.
Yeah.
And either he clipped that, or Grim did, or someone clipped it and sent it to FromSoft and said, hey, I did this. I know what I'm talking about. You need to fix your shit. Because I wasn't doing it maliciously. I could have, if I wanted to do things maliciously, run all sorts of illegal things. I could have grabbed banking information, passwords,
Anything. Yeah,
anything I
anything.
wanted, or had
And
his
RCE
computer run anything I want.
Right. Remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I kept reading into the RCE command, the more I was like, holy shit. And on the subreddit where this dude had tried to say, hey, in your netcode, there's this huge problematic leak, ostensibly. They, Bandai Namco was like, we don't, dude, no. Like,
Yep.
okay. But worse than that, it's ignored. That was like a year ago that he tried to report the RCE like security breach that you could do. kind of good on that guy to fucking take it on himself
Yeah.
and be
Oh
like,
yeah.
prove a point, you know?
Yep.
I feel bad for that streamer, but like the more that I looked into this, dude, it basically like turned any computer that ran Dark Souls into a remote activation. So you could do anything on that dude's PC just as if that person had given over remote control to you.
Yep.
Um, that's not great. What if the guy did his online banking on there and had it save, his PC knows all his, I don't want to remember my password for that. Google Prime's got it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
not smart. The other thing that the community was talking about, and I think that they're taking a little lightly, um, the scroll, the Dark Souls series, all ostensibly is the same game that they've just, take the engine and keep moving. Dude, doesn't Elden Ring come out like in less than a month?
Exactly 1 month to the day.
So that problem, that bug, that security leak is 100% in that code.
Oh yeah, easily.
Um, so you better come up with a day one fucking patch, boys. Because if you got a disk copy and there is no day one patch, it will be in there.
Yep.
That will 100% be in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and definitely kind of makes you go. And okay, part of me does understand that Japanese gaming culture is different than American gaming culture, where we have a tendency to um, listen to players. Shit, Valve hires dudes who break their security systems, and then they're
Yep.
like, "Hey, come work for us because if you can break it, then maybe you can make better,
Yep.
security."
Mm-hmm.
Japanese culture in gaming, not so much.
Yeah. Very much so.
It's got to be developed in house. They don't care what you say. It's not a thing until it's literally apparently blown up on a stream to the point, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They should be sued if traces of damage are anywhere in history, especially if Elden Ring gets hacked. Yeah, I mean,
Right. I mean, they could literally be leading to a huge civil lawsuit
mm-hmm.
if they can't fix this before Elden Ring drops. Like, and that ain't a good look. Because frankly, I was thinking about going to play fucking Dark Souls like 2 days ago. And then I was like, oh, right. Well, I could play it in offline mode, but it's not exactly the true intended like feels. So I guess I'm just gonna wait, I guess, until and there's no they have given no announcement at this point as to when a fix is coming or if they've even identified the where the leak is in the code.
Yep.
Because that is a huge undertaking to
Oh,
find
oh
that.
god, yeah. I would hope though.
Unless
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, unless you hit that guy up and then he was like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am literally telling you where you dropped your wallet. It's like that Patrick Star. Like, is this your ID? Yup. Do you want this back? Nope. It's like, dude, what? Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. I was actually gonna say that exact same thing, pretty much. I mean,
It's like,
it's like he's telling you exactly where your problem is. Go hit him up, have him point his finger to the spot in the code and be like, "Here's your problem, fix it."
right, right, and then give him whatever check he deserves.
Yeah.
Like, if he wants, 20 grand, give him the 20 grand. Whatever. Thanks for fucking finding the shit for us. Like,
Yep.
and you saved our ass. Because seriously, if Elden Ring launched with this and it did blow up out of like, imagine if this guy wasn't a good guy
Mm-hmm.
and he did want to sell this information on the dark web.
Oh yeah.
Like, A, he could have made fucking crazy bank,
Mm-hmm.
and B, he would have sank your entire title for months. Like people would lose faith in that company because, like, and then those pissed off consumers would have gone and probably set up a civil lawsuit and sued your company for however many millions of dollars that would have ended up being.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
man, oof. So good catch, whoever the fuck you were, and
Yeah.
good on you for not being a piece of shit.
Yep. I'm still doing my Dark Souls 3 Convergence mod playthrough though, mainly because the mod requires I play offline or else I get soft banned. So it's like,
Right.
I'm just going to play offline. Simple as
Sure.
that.
Sure. Which makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is a pretty egregious thing, especially to ignore it for so long.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Because I want to
Uh,
say it was originally found. I think the post I read was like 8 or 9 years ago. So that
Yikes.
means it literally has just been in Dark Souls the entire
All the
time.
time.
And fortunately, no one's done anything with it other than to sit there and point at it and be like, hey, look, this is here, Bandai Namco, fix your shit.
Yeah. Huge problem.
Yeah.
Like just putting it out there. Um, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Um,
Yep.
Again, I guess good on you if you're playing on fucking, console. Like,
Yeah, true,
doesn't
true.
affect you. Uh, is it me or is it you?
You.
Okay. Um, yeah, God, they better have a day one patch. And not only that, I'm still a little worried, which is like the kind of fucked up thing, right? Like, because it is such a, like, God bless, that is a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Speaking of servers, let's talk a little Halo. So Halo servers went down this week. No big deal. That shit happens. Um, everyone who plays online games, we all know that there's going
Yeah.
to be problems.
Oh, yeah.
Be it through the company or shit. Even a couple weeks ago, it was Amazon that had the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But 343 came out, and basically some people were griping. Now, granted, this outage. This is the other thing that I was kind of like before I even. The outage was only 4 hours long. Not a ton of time, but I would just like to put that out there because not everyone has, streamer time or even gamer time anymore. A lot of people are adults and then maybe you only get like 4 or 5 hours a day, or maybe way less, maybe two.
True.
But so the servers went down for 4, and a bunch of people were like, fuck, I had used an XP booster during this time and I didn't get to use it. So XP boosters are generally things that you pay real money to use. And again, generally, most people use them if you don't have as much time to play and you're trying to get through, let's call it a battle pass or whatever. So 343 comes out and or 434. I've said that wrong twice now. Um, and they say this exactly. We appreciate your patience on this issue. While we do not have the ability or to give or replace the boosters you've lost during the server outage, we wanted to inform you that access to Halo Infinite servers is now restored. If you are still having trouble to getting into matches, please restart the game and try again. Well,
Yep.
okay. I mean, that is a response.
Not a good
I
one.
Not a good one. I like now. I'm going to try to play devil's advocate here. One side of me goes, that's fucking bullshit that you didn't think that far ahead. Right? That this might happen. That you might have a time when your outage is 3 days, let's even call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody might have popped a 7-day booster because we have those in Rainbow Six Siege. Um, that's kind of a bummer when it's real world dollars. The other side of me goes, okay, it's their first free to play game. It's the first time they've ever offered boosters that are paid for. But again, to go back to my other side, dude, I'm still a designer and I would have been like, yeah, no, we need a system to mark off, hey, if somebody popped a booster during this time ahead of time when the servers were still up, that we could, a flag gets flipped, you use this thing, that goes in the metrics. It would be a ton of work on their side to go through all the complaints, but
Mm-hmm.
hey, send us your complaints. If this happened to you, we'll go through the logs. If you are found that that is an actual real thing that happened to you, when we have the data to verify it, we will get you another one in your inventory. It might take us a while to get to everybody, but at least people would be happy,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, that is one thing that I can guarantee is logged somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that you are on your account, you are using a XP booster.
Right.
Guarantee that's on a log somewhere for that.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, just give us time. We will go through it. And if it's validated that, yes, you used one within X amount of time before the servers went down, unplanned, mind you,
Right.
then okay, we'll reimburse you.
Yep.
Um,
And again, we're talking about digital shit here.
yeah. Yeah.
Like when you don't like, I think the problem right now, to at least some big degree in my mind, when a company can create an infinite number of a resource and they don't keep checks and balances in this way, that is death of economics. Like you can produce this at zero cost. You could fix this. Like, and let me tell you, if you don't think that they have the metrics on this, again, as a dude who worked for EA and went through metrics a lot in online, every company that is even remotely big has the metrics of every button input you do literally every time you start a game. So you start a game and you go direct to online, there's a log with your gamer tag, and then it goes to he went to online. Then he went to full court play. He played for 50 minutes. He went out. He went into ultimate team. He played for 2 hours. Every single step of the way through that. Um, that's just how it is, boys and girls. So yeah, it's kind of fucked up that like you wouldn't think like maybe what if you wanted to do a system where you just wanted to gift your players with stuff.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
go to our Twitter, follow us, and retweet. And we'll pick 100 out of a hat, and we'll give you a 7-day booster for free. You didn't think that would be maybe a possible good idea? Again, $0 for you.
Yeah.
Um,
At least have a tweet
fucking
announcing something like we're working on it. Sorry for free XP. Well, see, that's the thing is they're not giving away any of the XP boosters that were used right before the servers went offline.
and gifting XP to everyone doesn't really solve the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Double XP weekend, because then what I didn't pop a booster, but thanks, I guess, random guy who paid for this.
Yep.
Like, cause you
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't like if I had popped a booster, I didn't get another one, and then they were like, "Hey, sorry, we're gonna do triple XP weekend from this date to this date." I'd be like, "Well, cool, I guess," but that doesn't solve my problem. Not to be a human about it, but the first thing I would think was, still, I paid for everyone else to have a fucking triple XP weekend. Like, what the fuck?
Yep. Exactly.
Maybe they could even do that. You know what? That might not even be the worst idea I've ever thought of. Like, let's say it's a multiplayer game and everybody throws in, I'm just going to pick cool random numbers here, 100 space credits, whatever is real world money, but it's like less than $1. Let's call it like 25 cents worth of that currency. Because you know, like, they try to fuck you by making their currencies all weird numbers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so if you want something that's $12, they only sell in $10 or $15 bundles.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always like a little kind of sitting on the side.
Yep.
What if it was something like where everyone in the community could throw in 20 cents into a jar, and as soon as the jar gets filled, then we go, okay, triple XP week for everyone. If some people want to throw in more than the 20, they could. But like that way it's a pay it forward kind of situation. That could be
Yeah.
okay. I could be okay with that. Shit, I sit around on like $4 or $5, probably more, in Valorant constantly. But if there was something where I could be like, yeah, I'll chip in for a community event, um, whatever.
Definitely is an interesting concept.
No one's done it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
This is why big companies don't want to fucking hire me, though. It's like, what's 20 cents gonna do? It's like, well, 20 cents times, let's call it a fucking million player fucking base.
Yep.
That's just math, dummies.
Adds up. Adds up.
Yeah.
Or better yet, 20 cents times, okay, you already got the metrics on how many players you have worldwide, so you do the math.
Right. Right. I you know, that I think that system, because every time I go and like let's say I'm buying a pack of cigarettes at 7-Eleven, if I happen to have old ass cash on me, like I just came off a Spanish ship and I still got fucking doubloons in my hand, because who carries fucking cash? But let's say I do, and there's a jar for an animals thing, an animal shelter or whatever,
Hmm.
I always give them the change, you know?
Yep.
So
Yep.
if it was like that, I feel like people, and nobody who's ever been like, "Oh, you bastards, you put up another save the children or whatever." Like, no, nobody bitches about that. Everybody goes, "Yeah, okay, take my 20 cents or whatever."
Yep. Exactly.
But who am I?
Yep.
How many times do I say that a week?
Enough.
Yeah. Like you can make a drinking game out of it easily.
Who knows?
I think it's you.
Yep. um, kind of switching from 343 over to Bungie. Still, uh, mainly going with Destiny 2. They finally are doing a good thing. Basically, with Destiny 2, as with all traditional MMOs, gear itself has different rarity values. In Destiny 2, they come in containers called engrams. When the new expansion drops, which is coming up, I believe, in February here, they are going to be giving. You'll be able to acquire the rare engrams, the blue engrams, up until you hit the what is known as the soft cap of your power level. After that, you're pretty much all endgame at that point anyways, so you're only getting the purple gear from that point forward. So the last 10, typically, last 10 light levels, you'll actually be getting just the purple gear. So that is definitely a good thing that they did. It also means people are going to be getting a lot less gear potentially, um, which means their currency in game is going to. The economy in game is going to take a little bit of a hit, I think, just because players aren't going to have as much as they normally would, so they're not going to be able to buy whatever things they need/want to buy. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there. As far as the new expansion, though, it does look pretty cool. They've already got the 30th anniversary thing out there, which, yeah, cool. But yeah, they're once you hit the soft cap, you're going to be no longer getting the rare engrams and only getting the epic ones from that point forward until the next season or expansion or whatever. So
How long are those in between each other?
typically they've been 3 months between each other, or 3 month seasons. But
Okay.
this past season, like, it's still going just because the next expansion's not out yet.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah,
Their model is weird. I find their model to be very weird.
yeah, it
Um,
can be.
I mean, again, to be fair, they're not scratching any itches for me. So,
Yeah.
like, who am I to talk? Like, I did it again. Who am I? Some guy. But I am, like, in this particular instance, I really am just some guy. Like, I just think their model is a little archaic. It's a little closer to, like, WoW shit, where it's, like, big expansions and then lots of time, and that's just rotating numbers and bullshit that I just hate that shit. Like, because it feels like a dungeon crawler kind of thing, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but again, that's just everybody has their own flavor of no. Not everybody likes all the crappy competitive games that I play. So
True, but I mean, also at the same point in time, as far as MMOs go, like Kratos was talking to me earlier about it, I believe Saturday. Um, when comparing Destiny as a MMO to Final Fantasy 14, how can Bungie call Destiny an MMO?
Yeah,
Like there are so many mechanical things in in a traditional MMO that are not there, and it's just
yeah,
like okay,
it's true.
yeah,
Um, and it could be a fundamental thing of the difference between a first person shooter and, a traditional MMO. That could be there's some grinding of gears there. But I think it's also because like Bungie's been winging it
Mhm.
since literally the first one.
Yeah,
Um whereas Blizzard like made like MMOs like what they are and what we traditionally think of them as. Um so I don't know. They've been working on that shit since what, 2008 or some bullshit,
yeah, something like that.
right?
Earlier than that,
6? No. Ah, oh, see,
early.
that's how much about fucking World of Warcraft I know.
I
Um,
don't remember.
2001. I remember that like
Yeah,
fucking the dude that I had a piece that was playing that game, the PC he had to run it, and that's not even a very like rough game to run. I was like, fuck that. That's a whole fucking thing to like buy into that game, and then you're charging me every month. Um, and the times have just changed, right? Like, so I don't know. Bungie is kind of like Bungie's kind of like trying to do new school stuff
mm,
and follow an old school playbook.
yep, yeah.
That's not going to lead to good like togetherness.
No,
But
I mean they have had rough patches, definitely, but they're doing for what they're doing. It's not bad. I will say
sure.
that.
Okay. Well,
So
I mean that's not exactly a ringing fucking endorsement. I'm sure they won't put that on the back of the
true.
box.
For what we're
Like
doing, it's not bad.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, Bob, marketing, put that on the back. That's so good.
Hey, but who am I?
Right, exactly. I'm just some guy. Like who am I? Um,
uh,
yeah. But hey, I guess like again, small steps or whatever, and there's always growing pains when you're trying to do something that you're not used to. So
oh yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Um, what do I have next? Let's talk about something. Uh, you know what? Let's talk about just something quick and kind of breezy because I have like another two in here that I'm like, oh god, that's gonna be a full conversation.
Oh, God.
Um, the main playtime, I guess we could have really rolled this into the last conversation we were having. The main playtime of Elden Ring was announced at Japan's recent con. Um, 30 hours.
Okay.
Uh, I think that's a great number. I think that's a perfectly legit number. Um, when you read into it a little bit more, the producer was saying if you want to play Elden Ring just story stuff and go straight through, 30 hours is about how long it'll take you. If you're worse, it'll take you a little bit more. If you're better, it'll take you a little bit less. If the crazy part of this announcement was, I didn't think that this was going to be kind of a thing in this one, but apparently it is. One, there is going to be multiple playthroughs, so there is going to be a new game plus,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't because this is like, I mean, again, it's a weird hybrid, right?
Hmm.
Um, but I didn't think that they were going to do that. Frankly, I thought it was going to be kind of a one and done, or more like a Zelda thing where you cleaned up the map. That's it. Like you're done now. Um, but apparently, it is going to be multiple playthroughs. Two, there is going to be multiple endings, and a little bit more kind of got leaked here than I think he might have wanted to say, but um, basically there's choices at the end towards the end of those 30 hours that are the variations of the endings that you can get.
Okay. I don't know if that was unintentional leak or not. Um, and the reason why I say that is because looking at the Souls franchise in general, Dark Souls 1, the the choice as far as which ending you get is literally
Oh yeah,
after you fight the final boss.
right.
It's Link the
But
Flame or
again,
walk out.
yeah, and that's fine. Like, but I don't really love those,
Push
choose
this
your
or that.
fucking
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
those endings are lame. This sounds more like it's a little before that, and there's a couple of different like branching ways things can go,
right, right,
which is a little better and a little more organic, I guess.
yeah. Um, Dark Souls 2 is the same as 1. 3 really broke from that though. Because with 3 it's not just, oh hey, here's a choice like midway through uh the story that you're working on. It like there's a choice here and then a choice here and a choice here and choice here. Like you have to do multiple different things to
Sure,
get one of 4 endings.
sure.
So,
Um, well, what do you think about 30 hours for Elden Ring? I feel well, I'm gonna preface this real quick. I am not one of these dudes who wants like JRPG 500 hours in my games. I just don't. I have too many other things going on.
mhm.
I don't want that. Um, Frankly, I think BioShock is one of the best games of its entire generation, and it's still 12 hours. And when I replayed it, when they made it for the Xbox One, I was like, oh, okay, come on, fuck me. The last like 4 hours, because like 8 hours is like when it really like kind of starts going. This is like perfect. We could stop right here, but then there's still a whole other area, and I was like, oh my god, I like totally forgot that it like extended the gameplay by like at least another 2-3 hours. Um, I personally fall in the range of for a normal first person shooter campaign, just for an example,
Mhm.
8 to 12 hours, full stop. Um, 30 hours in a Souls game, if you're only running through the story stuff, feels great to me. Um, Maybe even a little long, frankly. Depends on how many bosses are there, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, if it's purely story stuff you're doing,
mhm.
I would say it seems a tad long. I would say probably more along the lines of somewhere on the like low 20s, somewhere between 20 and 25 is
Especially if you want multiple playthroughs, right?
right, right. Because say on my first playthrough, I go more on the eastern side of the map, and then the which I find was incredibly easy. Second playthrough, same character, I go to the western side, I walk 2 feet, I'm getting my head kicked in.
Mhm.
It's like, well, is it because I'm on New Game Plus, or is it because these guys will kick your head in no matter what you do?
Right. Right. Scaling,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, um, because again, let's go back to the Zelda comparison. Breath of the Wild doesn't have a traditional new game plus, really. You just get dumped back in the map and it's like, okay, just go clean up all your shit.
Mhm.
That is honestly what I thought they were gonna do for Elden Ring. But if you're telling me that the campaign is 30 plus hours, so I even went and I looked at my playtimes across Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3. Now, granted, I'm not done with 3, but I'm fucking close now. Uh, Each one averaged about 32 hours.
Okay.
Okay, but again, with 1 and 2, I had finished them. So that was probably most of the side stuff too. Now, did I ever go through there with a fine tooth comb and try to find every fucking thing? Hell no. That's just not how I play, you know? The fact that you get 30 hours out of me, you should be fucking taking an award. Um, but I know that there are people who do want to do over and over and over and over. Um, so I don't know, 30 hours feels a little long to me as well, but I saw like the comments in the thread, there was so many people who were like, "Oh, 30 hours is bullshit." I'm like, "Did you really like you can't even make a AAA title that's like really longer than that at this point for any amount of feasible money." You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does make sense. I find it funny that you're saying you can't make a AAA title that has a longer runtime than that, because over this past week I couldn't find the article, but I remember the figures exactly. Um, Dying Light 2 is coming out
Yeah.
soon-ish. They were also probably at the same convention that this was
The
taken.
Japanese one.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were also asked as far as what's the runtime going to be of a playthrough? Oh,
Mhm.
500 hours.
Yeah. Okay. 500 hours of go to the place and shoot the lads, though. Not 500 hours of unique bosses, unique areas. Dude, that is a apples to oranges situation. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
they broke it down a little bit further. They
Okay.
said 20 hours for A to B story, 80 hours if you do a lot of the side stuff, 500 hours if you do all the dialogues, get all the things, go all the everywhere, kill all the everything. And it's like, dude, you don't sit there and lead with, oh yeah, this is like 100% the game. This is what it's going to take you. It's like you don't lead with that.
And frankly, again, like, okay, this is going to come off a little contradictory from my mouth. I played Disgaea, right? I love that entire series.
Mhm.
Again, if you just went through the main story, it's probably an 8 to 20 hour game, depending on who you are and how much power leveling you want to do. At the same time, I looked at my file of 5, which I've only played like 8 times in 8 different sessions. I'm already at 56 hours. So again, it's a different thing and how much you want to do that. I personally am not killing boring same old zombies for longer than 8 hours, frankly.
Yeah.
Like, fuck
Yeah.
off. Like, that's
Oh yeah.
just not happening. Um, but it's everyone's personal choice, right? And
Mhm.
back in the day, when we were all kids, and we didn't have money for a lot of games, that value was incredibly high.
Oh god,
But
yeah.
nowadays, it's like, dude, we're all adults. We have
Mhm.
adult money. Like, everybody can shake down. Even if you don't want to buy a title brand new, wait 6 months. It'll come on a Steam sale. You'll get it for $30.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I just feel like that time to dollar ratio has gotten even more skewed at this point. Because like if you think about it this way, and this is what I've always done since I was a kid, going to a movie right now by yourself is, let's call it, an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, and it's $15 to walk in the door. God forbid if you want some fucking milk duds, like you're
Mhm.
walking,
Oh
or a
yeah.
beer.
Mhm.
Um, and that was 2 hours of entertainment. Nowadays, it's like, come on, man, that's plenty of money. I think that's one of the reasons why, and I wonder often actually how much the way that things have gone with Steam sales and Xbox Live sales and PlayStation sales, how much money companies are losing on launch, because it's like a game has to be an S tier must have for me to pick it up on launch day nowadays.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like anything else, if it even falls into an A tier of I kind of want it, my fucking backlog is ridiculous. Like, and I know if I just wait 6 months, it'll come up on the summer sale or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I can totally understand. To kind of clarify that a little bit more, especially when talking in regards to like AAA title games. So Elden Ring, wow, I totally forgot
Dying
what
Light.
Dying Light. Thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Dead Rising. Uh, Dying Light, games like that. It definitely has to be extremely good to to grab at launch day. Now there are
Right.
other titles that are smaller by indie companies that I would be a lot more willing on launch day for those titles to be like, oh hey, yeah, grab it on launch day. Then typically because a lot of times, especially for indie studios, yep,
Right.
um,
Literally, Windjammers 2 came out last week, was on Game Pass. I went to Steam and gave them the $15 because I had been watching that title for a very long time. I know that it was a passion project for those guys.
mhm,
And even though I have Game Pass, I went out of my way and I gave them $15 because $15 isn't as hard of an ask as $60. And frankly, not to get a little bit more into economics here, but $60 for these AAA titles that cost 500 million, even that price point is going to balloon soon.
yeah,
We got to come up with a new economic system here. I think Game Pass is an excellent
mhm,
step in the right direction, frankly.
yeah.
Um, but
be interesting to see where things go.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the deluge of indie games is both like a blessing and a curse, right? Because if it's really good, like we were talking about, I've been playing Inscription. The really good shit will still bubble to the top.
Mhm.
But, and I'll include myself in this sewer pipe of diarrhea that also comes out every fucking day
Yeah.
on every platform. Um, from literally Steam to Xbox to fucking mobile. Like there are, because to make a game now generally is cheaper. It's cheaper to do as long as you have some people who know how to code and some people who know how to design and then some dudes who know how to throw some form of graphics up.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Um,
The
yeah.
other thing, as far as with AAA title games being more and more expensive to make, it's also going to be harder and harder for the average player, the average consumer, to run it because hardware is getting so scarce.
Sure. Sure.
I mean,
And,
until
and
the
look,
hardware issue is resolved, it's like you can only make games so good, and then it's like, okay, player base, we gotta stop making the super igasm 2000
right.
games.
Right. And that's why do you ever really hear the term double A studio? No.
No.
Indie, triple A.
Mhm.
Like those double A studios are even harder because they're walking an even finer line of margin. Like that Attack on Titan game, I ended up picking up two, even though it barely went on sale. But I was like, this game's great, and $34, okay. And it's a studio that I'd never really seen before.
Hmm.
But because man, those guys are walking a fucking like a I was saying cunt hair. I don't know why. Um, like a margin that is a hair width length. So I don't know. Like so sometimes I feel like that's it was really close to me not saying it, and then I was like, fuck it. But
Oh,
that margin of error is so small because you could, if you have a double A title, which means your studio has, let's call it 100 people, and it doesn't do well enough, let's say 20 of them have to get laid off. That's a fifth of your workforce that gets laid off.
mhm.
So man, those margins are fucking tight.
Yep.
Yeah. Was it me or you?
Uh, me, and I just realized I have another one, kind of like what we started with.
Go for it.
Xbox, specifically the creator of the Xbox, the original Xbox, um, he decided to reminisce in regards to how a quote he said almost got him fired.
Yep.
And this is referencing back to the day of gaming, the age of gaming, when it was done but apparently not heard of by, like, not talked about between people. And I'm sitting here thinking,
Just read the quote,
the
dude.
original
Read the quote.
Xbox.
Read the quote. Read the quote.
I'm pulling up the article just so I can make sure I quote it exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so uh Seamus Blackley was quoted uh when he was referring to gaming back in the original Xbox age of, gaming is like masturbation. Everybody does it, nobody wants to talk about it.
Very 2001 attitude.
And I'm sitting here thinking, gaming on the original Xbox in that age, everybody does it, but no one wants to talk about it. Dude, what the hell? Like, my entire life I've been talking about gaming.
Yeah, I know, but we were weirdos when we were like
Oh
younger,
my.
Like it's much more culturally acceptable now. Like my mom plays games, you know what I'm saying? This was not how it was in
Yeah.
even up until like the Xbox. Very fragmented players, like in high school, like fucking people called me a loser
Yeah.
because I gamed. Nowadays, it's more accepted. However, that is a very funny quote.
Yes.
That
Yes,
is
it
a
is.
very funny quote.
Which almost got him fired.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no shit, because he probably shouldn't. Although to be fair, like okay, like to talk on his behalf, like he's not wrong. Like, why are we all such like fucking prudes that we can't fucking say like, yeah, we all jack off and shit? He didn't even say jack off or like something even grosser. He didn't say
Yep.
like fleshlights. Everyone uses it, but nobody talks about them. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about just self pleasure. There, if he had said it that way, I feel like that might have gone over a little smoother. Um,
Yeah,
but
maybe. But
maybe. I don't know. Like, who knows?
um, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because looking back, reading the article, and specifically the reporter who interviewed him, the apparently fight that she had to get into with the editor to leave that quote in intact.
Mhm.
It's like, oh boy,
And to be
yeah,
fair, dude, we like this nation, as like gun-toting and great
oh,
as America is, still pretty fucking sexually repressed. Like
yes, oh
America
hell
is
yeah,
a pretty sexually repressed nation.
yes,
So, like even talking like what you got to say it like a medical, I don't know. You can't say self abuse. I don't know why that was like the next place my brain went to for jerking off. Like self pleasure, I guess, is a little better. Like I don't know.
self
Our nation is
gratification.
Yes, exactly. Like our nation is still so wrapped up in like this like shit that like I
Hmm.
get it that like some people wouldn't fucking find that like appropriate, but like seriously. And he used the word seriously, masturbation. Like you know, like I
Yep.
don't even like other than self-gratification, like adhesive medical strips. Like, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to saying band-aid. Like, you know,
Yep.
just a personal thing, but I don't feel like that's that bad. But then again, this is why people don't fucking interview me for things, and probably they just go, "Hey, weirdo, go create stuff in the corner," and I go, "Okay, I'm gonna go home and masturbate." And they'd be like, "Yeah, that's why you're not fucking talking to the press, weirdo." And I go, "Okay." Yeah,
No, no. Instead, you get interviewed by me, and well,
yeah,
we know where
yeah,
that went.
we have this show, and I can just talk about whatever. Thank God for Twitch,
Yeah,
and the cool people who show up to like listen to us ramble about shit like this.
yeah. Ramble about
Um,
virtual porn and masturbation.
Yep. Okay, so I would like to talk about this Steam Deck thing, right?
Okay.
So the Steam Deck, as you may or may not well know, is the portable. It's basically the size of a Switch, and it's supposed to be able to play anything that you have downloaded on your from your Steam library directly to it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There is a subreddit now that has popped up over the last like month or two that has been talking about because this is the big thing. Photon, the company who is doing the translations, because again, it doesn't use the same OS system as your Windows system as what normal program is. So there's basically got to be an emulator involved, and Photon is the name of it.
Hmm.
So that was one of the first questions we asked, like load these money months ago. By the way, 30th fucking episode. By the way,
Yep. Yep.
um, a little
So
cheers for that.
sorry, I had to get the appropriate drink.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Um, we talked about this months ago when this was starting to be announced. Um, we don't know what games are going to be playable, what games are going to be in a runnable state. They basically have three different types of variety of icons that can go next to them. So when you load up Steam on your Steam Deck, it will say verified,
Hmm.
it will say playable, or it will say unsupported. So those are the three types of games. As of two no not even 4 days ago, 67 games have so far received a rating.
Oof.
Yes. So before I go much further, I would just like to say only 67. Dude, that game, that console launches next month.
Yeah.
It comes Steam Deck comes out next month. 67 games have been verified. Woo. That's a lower number than I was expecting.
Hmm.
But so far, 39 games have received the verified status, including Death Stranding, Cuphead, Hollow Knight, Dark Souls 3, Into the Breach. Those are some of the games that have been verified. They will run, and they will run well on your Steam Deck. That is a nice variety of games too,
Yeah.
right? Like, the difference between Hollow Knight and Dark Souls 3,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
wildly different. 23 more have been marked playable, including Slay the Spire, and 5 so far have been marked as completely unplayable.
Really?
Yep.
Which one did it say? Which one the 5 were?
It did not.
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
I would have to go and check the subreddit.
Okay.
But I don't know. That's lower than I thought it was going to be. I guess is
Yeah.
what, like, 67 games.
Mhm.
Now, again, let's talk about this a little bit deeper. That's 67 games total from the library of Steam, which was what, 120,000 the last time we talked about it?
Oh, easily something like
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I think it was 120,000 the last time we talked about it. So in that 67 games, you still need to own those games, because any of those games that are verified or playable, if you haven't bought them through Steam, you still have to buy them to even get this console to play games that are. And by the way, I really didn't want to harp on this, but I kind of want to harp on this. I think the newest game in that list that they showed was Death Stranding.
Oof.
Right. Which came out in, I believe, 2018, 2019. So, woo.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Um. It kind of feels like so far, looking at Steam's track record of hardware. Most things they were like, "Hey, we have this," and then it fizzles out. This seems like it's, "Hey, we have this. We actually did our homework this time, and we have it planned as to how to build it, deliver it, tech specs, all that." And this feels like it's now the, "Oh, we forgot that."
Right. The games.
Yeah. The whole
Right.
thing that this is supposed to do, run
Right.
games. We forgot to
Software.
check if it'll happen.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of a big thing to forget, to be honest,
Yeah.
which really feels like it's dead on arrival.
I mean, this is like what the Jaguar did, right? Or the Lynx.
Yeah.
Like to be even more specific, like,
Yeah.
like you made a piece of hardware, but like nobody cares about your good hardware if it
You
doesn't have
can't
anything
play
to fucking
games.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and if it's gonna take the transition between Steam to Photon to, so what? You're buying basically a Switch
Yeah.
that is gonna only play games that are 2+ years older?
Yeah.
Dude, you realize the Switch is available, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't really
And really, by far, I would say better.
right. I mean, now granted, that has to do more like specific things, right? Like indie
True.
titles and shit.
True.
And this is clearly trying to ape into, we can, like, you can just play Dark Souls on the go, you know?
Yeah.
But again, do I want to play Dark Souls on a screen this big?
No. No. Hell no.
No. Like, I like, by the way, I had a bunch of people in here. Killed, like, I swear to God, so many PVC people show up and they're like, I'm just like just putting out information. I'm not even shitting on this thing. I'm just telling you the story. Anyways, I think that I don't know, man. This just isn't a good look.
You're right. Exactly. And this is not a good look. Um, it really feels much. Wow, I can't talk. It really feels like what I said. It's going to be out there. They're going to be shipping it, and people are going to be like, well, the games that are certified, I don't own or have no interest in owning or don't play.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Because then you cut that percentage down even lower.
Yep. And it's like,
Ooh.
okay, cool. Why do I have this now if I can't play the games I want to play?
Right. Because ostensibly
So,
what they sold us was the idea that you can play anything in your
anywhere.
Switch or in your Steam library, um, anywhere on the go.
Mhm.
And it is shaping up to not be like that.
Oh, yeah.
My thought is, and I don't want a gentleman's dollar bet this, but I kind of do. I would not be surprised if in a year there was only one of two things that happen. One, they really crank up like their conversion rate and maybe they start slowly building some momentum. Or two, people have lost all fucking interest and they say, you know what, we're not making any more Steam Decks. Valve isn't a company that will just hemorrhage money for no reason. They can
Yeah.
afford to,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but they don't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Exactly.
Oof.
I have a feeling as far as the list that is out there, for starters, obviously day one, hour one of people getting them, they're going to be installing half their library, or tons of games, put simply. And that list of playable and
Verified.
no, not playable
Oh yeah.
will balloon very quickly.
Yeah.
Verified will grow, but slowly,
Oh,
and only after it goes through Steam or Valve's verification process.
right. Vetting process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And again, they've also been very, very loosey goosey with what those three things meant.
Mhm.
Playable meant a very different thing than verified. Verified meant this shit will run ostensibly like it's running on your PC.
Yep.
Playable, they were like playable.
Mhm. You may
What does
have
that
to do
mean?
things.
Or runs at 20 frames.
Yeah.
That's playable to some people, you
Mhm.
know, but that's
Is it
not playable to everybody,
right? Right.
you know. I don't know. This is just a fucking minefield that they've laid in front of themselves.
Mhm.
Um, I am. I try to be a positive person, but in Alex Quino brain, I can't see this working out well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I can't either.
like now, will these be a cool collectible years down the road? Probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
because they probably won't make tons of them and
Mhm.
shit. Um, so if you got the extra cash sitting around, maybe you want to buy one and just never open it and keep it just as a collectible, put it on your fucking shelf to make it look cool. And then maybe down the road, some fucking PC collectors like, hell yeah, you got a Steam Deck in box, like sealed. Like, you might be able to make a couple $100.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. This is such a bad strategy.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
This you're trying to sell us on like wishes and dreams the way the fucking Amigo fucking rework. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I mean,
God, yeah.
it's not that bad, but like, you know, it is
True.
kind of that bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely does not leave a pleasant taste in your mouth.
I don't come out with fucking sunshine and rainbow thoughts about it. Although to be fair, if I do see one when it starts almost inevitably going downhill, if I see one for like 150, 120, I might pick one up. I probably will never fucking plug the piece of shit. And that's the other thing that they still have not explained fully. How do I, is it Wi Fi? Do I plug it in directly to an Ethernet cable? Do I plug it into my PC?
Yeah.
They literally haven't explained all this.
Mhm.
The fucking thing comes out next month.
Yep.
And there's still so many questions circling it.
Let alone the simple fact of, like, with the Switch, it comes with the base,
Right.
and we know with the Switch it can charge the Switch. It powers the Switch so that you can play it on a TV or capture card, whatever, on a bigger screen. Cool. The only thing we know with the stand for the Steam Deck is it does not provide power. It is powerless.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
yeah.
This is, and I don't want to sound like a hater, but like this is just me being realistic. Going,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
this just doesn't sound great. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Trust me, dude. When it comes to talking realism, I've been talking realistic viewpoints at least forever.
yeah,
So when people talk realistic viewpoints, I know when I can see it, and it's like, yeah, you're talking realistically here, not hating.
and the worst part is that most people don't want to hear that though. You know, like that's the unfortunate thing.
Mhm.
Um, but whatever, that's what it is. All right,
Yeah,
moving on.
yeah. Is it me or you?
Yes, it is you.
It is me. Okay. Um, you know what? Let's talk about this. Game Developers Conference went on recently, and every year apparently they put on, or before it, or during it, or whatever. I don't remember the time frame of it. They have a survey that they give to all the developers and people who are willing to take it that are in the industry.
Yep.
Apparently there was a section on it this year, and bear with me one moment on this, guys. Don't fall asleep and walk off. Yes, we are talking crypto and NFTs very,
Oh
very,
God.
very, very briefly. Very briefly.
Okay, you're extending it right now.
And especially from the viewpoint of at minimum 70% of developers were sitting here saying not interested in crypto and NFTs in our games.
Now, again, not to be that guy, but 70% of those people probably independent developers.
True.
Major companies, they see dollars. They see pyramid scheme that they could be standing on the top of. That's the real problem for me. But it is nice to see, at the very least, most people are like, no, this is a fucking scam.
Yes. Yeah. Now, having said that, though, I mean, they could still be the developers of like EA, Ubisoft, things like that, companies like that, but they don't have the decision-making capability of the
Right.
the
You're not
projects.
Andrew Wilson. You're just some designer schmuck.
Right.
Like, so
Because the way that
really...
the way that these questions break down, there are 4 answers to both questions of what is your studio's interest in cryptocurrency as a payment tool, and what's your studio's interest in NFTs. Very interested, 6 to 7% for both questions. Somewhat interested, 21% across the board. Not interested, 72% for crypto as payment, and 70% as interest in not in NFTs, as far as not being interested at all. And then 1% for both of them of already using it or already developing them.
Yeah.
So clearly the indie studios have heard the players' backlash and are like, no, they don't want crypto, they don't want NFTs.
Right.
Developers of bigger studios, they may also have heard, unfortunately, they're not the decision makers. It's always those with the bankroll that are sitting here saying, hey, we want NFTs. Players want NFTs. They want crypto. And it's like, no, we don't.
Yeah. But if they know that like even 1% of player base wants those things and they will buy into it,
yep,
that shit's happening. Like, ugh. But I know the NFT thing is gonna piss off. That really is.
Oh yeah.
That's clearly just a scam. But blockchain shit, I'm not so sure, man. I like it could shape so many economies, both internal in video games and the way that it could affect economics on a world level, I don't know. That to me, I think that's going to be a bigger deal than we even now that we think that it is.
Yeah,
The good thing
unfortunately.
is, at least it's kind of starting to go down a little bit, which is good, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still not gonna fucking change anything, but
Yeah.
what do I know? I'm just some guy.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Let's do something fun.
Yes. Yes.
Here's something kind of fun. Shenmue, the anime,
Hmm.
is launching on Crunchyroll. I believe it's February 5th. Yep, February 5th, and they're doing the first 13 episodes. So I'm assuming since they phrased it as the first 13 episodes, I'm assuming that they're going to do a full 26 episode season, which is usually how anime goes. Um, Now, I have a lot of love for the Shenmue franchise.
Yep.
Ryo Kazooie is a boring character, and that is a boring storyline, but I don't care. I was on there for the Dreamcast, like fuck Shenmue 3, but I really like that series. So the fact that Crunchyroll coming out on February 5th with a full 13 episodes, bam, I'm in there. I'm gonna watch. I figured that'll be fun. And I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, okay, maybe I'll watch that February 6th or 8th or maybe 10th. But because I mean, like, Attack on Titan's going on right now. Like, am I really gonna stop watching a new Attack on Titan final season to go watch fucking Shenmue? No, that game came out in 1998 or what, 99, I think. But so if you're interested in Shenmue, if you like the series, we can now watch a man traipse through Japan and then into China and still not find his father's killer even after 3 games. Um, but February 5th, it's coming out on Crunchyroll. You know, if you have Crunchyroll, you don't even have to watch it with ads. If you don't, you can watch it with ads. So yeah, I just figured that was fun. And hopefully maybe we can get a good video game to anime interpretation, because sometimes that's just not the case.
Yep.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe he'll actually find his father's killer.
Mm. No, it's gonna have to be fucking crowdfunded, and you still won't find his father, and that'll be the 4th season.
Yeah.
Whatever. I like bland ass. I apparently like butter sandwiches. Just a bland anime protagonist who just is a martial arts master at 15 and now learns to I hope there's an episode where he drives a forklift. Otherwise, I'm going to think this is a complete total failure and I would be like, this is bullshit. Like, but I am excited in my Shenmue loving heart. I'm excited to watch it. So,
Okay. Cool. Cool.
yep.
Alrighty. Wow. I just realized 3 of the last 5 that I've got are all Nintendo based.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Actually, no. 4 out of the last 5 are related to Nintendo.
yeah, pick one.
First off, being Majora's Mask. It is coming to the Nintendo Switch Online in February. You know that.
Hopefully, it runs at a frame rate that's higher than a fucking slideshow. That would be fucking lovely.
I was just about to say, you know that shit show that launched a couple of months ago that Nintendo
damn.
did when they said, "Hey, look, we've got N64 games on our Switch now." Yeah, that shit show. They're finally, well, not finally, but they're releasing Majora's Mask to that service. So, yay!
Ooh. Hey, I like Majora's Mask. It's one of my more favorites. I saw it too. I didn't want to point it out. Ghost Orb. Another drink game you can play.
It's just another ongoing thing, like the New Age butt or New World butt and the golf clap.
Nope. There's a lot of canon that goes on in this show. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to be here. You got to pay attention. But there's a lot of canon.
Yeah.
We got a hierarching storyline.
You might see the ghost orb. You might not. Depends on when it happens during the stream, and
That's
on
right.
whose camera.
That is also true. It's never mine.
Yet.
That was yours. Yes. That's not how ghosts work.
You never
Don't you
know.
put
It may come over to haunt you.
don't you put that bad hoodoo on me. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I just hope it releases in a state that isn't garbage.
Yeah, yeah. That's the big
Um,
thing, which I
do you want to
kind
go
of
again?
I kind of have no confidence that it will not be garbage, but whatever.
Yeah. Do you want to do one more real quick?
Yeah, sure, why not? Which this actually kind of ties into something we talked a little bit, or at least I talked a little bit about last week. Nintendo, the company that is always fun and joyous to make fan-made games for, and I'm being completely and totally sarcastic on that, in case you couldn't tell. They have slapped a Reddit user with a cease and desist order over a first-person shooter Pokemon game he was making.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Other than it being a first-person shooter game that was Pokemon themed, Nintendo was just kind of like, no, you're not doing that.
I mean, that is a stupid idea, though. That is a fucking stupid idea on that dude's part.
True, yeah. I
Like,
mean,
literally every single one of those characters is a copyrighted character.
Mhm.
That is fucking moronic. This is not Emerald or the Metroid 2, like where it was all being made from like love and like, oh, we're just adding to a little bit of canon. This is literally just him ripping off assets and then putting a gun in your hand.
Yep.
How did you not think this was going to blow up in your fucking face?
Let alone from Nintendo.
Right.
I mean,
right. Like, okay. All right, Gears of War fan makes a first-person shooter on it. Wait a minute, no, nobody's gonna give a shit about that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this is the most family-friendly shit. Like, if anything, it should shoot like, I don't know, they got like all runny noses and it shoots tissues at the Pokemon or something. Maybe then, but like, it'd still be a gun, so like, they would still be like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just dumb on that guy's point. I don't even know what the fuck he was thinking, frankly.
Who knows? Apparently he wasn't. That's for certain.
Yeah. Do you want to do one more or no?
I can.
Up to.
Sure. Why not?
I have two kind of fun ones and then two kind of actual conversations.
Okay. Well, I've got two things of note and a kind of announcement.
Oh.
So.
An announcement, eh?
Yes, an announcement. Literally, right before I jumped into Discord with you before the show, I noticed it on Steam and I was like, oh, cool.
All right. Well, let's save that to the end.
Okay.
I'm
so this next one is okay. This next one is Nintendo's Breath of the Wild. A game that has ungodly amounts of playability in it, considering it's a small continent that you're running all over, doing all sorts of things, and yet players can still just beat the game in a matter of minutes. It also has a immense fan base for finding all the weird things that players should not find. And I'm being completely honest in saying this, in that I want to say it was around episode 10 or so, maybe 20, that we had a piece where we talked about how players were able to finally reach the last impossible chest. Well, players have now gone one step further and decided, hey, there are more things out there other than some of these chests that are timed and quote-unquote impossible to get. There are apparently also some what are called in-game shock arrows or lightning arrows. And some of these things are literally just frozen in midair in places. I'm talking about the person who wound up getting the first of the impossible arrows in Breath of
Halo.
the Wild.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Um, I would go into detail as to what all he did to get this, but I've never played Breath of the Wild, and I don't understand half of the setup that he did, other than he went to various locations to have his character be in certain states,
Yeah.
whether it be from Death Mountain or be in a temple or things like that.
Yep.
From there, he shield slid through part of a desert and then literally just jumped up in the air about, I think they said it was about like 3,000 meters, to the point where the tops of mountains were but small specks when you
Right.
look down. He probably also spent a couple thousand bomb arrows too, because I watched the video and it's literally just 10 minutes of him using bomb arrows exploding in his face just to
Yeah.
travel somewhere, getting it lined up, and then just effectively falling down from 3,000 meters up, and on your way down, grabbing an arrow out of midair that's
Right.
just sitting there. And it's like, the hell?
I mean, that's what like speedrunner shit is too, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm assuming that arrow was probably placed at some point during development and then never came up again. And so they
Yeah.
didn't even bother to remove it
Yep.
because no one could get to it. So they were like, it's fine, whatever. Who gives a shit? Who's going to get that? But they should have been like, oh, we're working on Legend of Zelda. Some fucking lunatic is going to figure out a way to get this thing.
Mhm.
But, hey, good on you.
Yeah. I mean, considering they've gotten all the quote unquote impossible chests, which we did cover
Right.
before,
We did.
they're now looking at other impossible quote unquote items to get.
Right.
So
It's
this
cool.
one guy decided, okay, here, I'm grabbing that arrow.
I'm
And he
going to
did it.
piss off fucking hundreds and hundreds of hours of my life on this one planet to get this one arrow.
Yep.
I salute you, you fucking lunatic. You could have written a fucking anthem of a generation, you weirdo. Probably
Yeah.
not, but like you could have.
If he wanted to.
If you wanted to. Yeah. So something fun or something a little more serious?
Let's go with serious.
Okay. So as we all do and maybe do not know, things are changing. There's big change on the wind for Activision Blizzard. I just saw Savage Dragon was playing Apex Legends. Last month there was 34 QA testers who went on strike at Raven Software, a company that I personally have a lot of love for. They've made a ton of good titles. We talked about it last week, in fact.
Yep.
Um, uh, but they went on strike because they wanted. They were told that they were to become full-time testers. And they didn't see that change happening anytime soon after a round of layoffs. So basically, to stand up to the company, some actually level 2 and higher QA testers stood together and said, fuck this, we're not doing it. We want, some sort of notification that we are going to be taken seriously and placed in full-time employment. As of today at 3:00 in the afternoon, Raven Software had announced that due to all the shit that is happening, there is going to be an organizational change that will be converting the 34 testers to embedded roles throughout the studio. Now, here's the cynical Alex opinion. These 34 guys stood up for what they believed in, and I wholeheartedly, literally, good on you, like good on you. And I am glad they are rolling out an embedded program there.
Mhm.
If you don't know what embedded is, embedded QA is basically QA where you work directly with a team. So I was embedded QA for online testing. So I worked directly underneath 5 guys who were specific to online programming. I was the tester that they always had to go through before they could even submit their code. They had to submit, a change list to me, and then I had to basically sign off to say, "Yep, it's not going to break the pipeline. We're totally good here." It's basically a much better way to do QA.
Mhm.
It is more expensive, obviously, because you're now paying people more money for the actual technical service that they provide, which is, for the love of God, what QA should get. Not everybody. There's a lot of monkey testers. No offense. Um, but um, so this new organizational change listed out the places that they will be going, and they basically said throughout the entire company. So some will be going to audio, some will be going to animations, some will be going to art, some will be going to, I'm assuming, online, whatever. Um, Cynical Alex thinks that's a little crazy how quickly this came up. Um, Strike happens. Now all of a sudden you're making these embedded roles, and the testers aren't going to be together.
Mm.
They're literally separating them into completely and totally different projects and pods. Pods are basically groups.
Yeah.
Um, so I did a little bit more digging. The CWA, which is the California fucking board of basically eh, organization
Mhm.
and union and stuff. Um, they came out with fucking both barrels and said, "This is nothing more than a tactic to thwart Raven QA workers who are exercising their rights to organize internally." I don't know if it's that serious, but it is a little fucking coincidental. If you look at, like, they have been asking at Raven specifically for 8 months for this QA, what, because they had been carrot on a stick. Oh, stay a little bit longer, stay a little bit
Yep.
longer. We're going to make things better. And then they go on strike, and then everything blows up with the Microsoft thing. And now 2 days after they come back to work from the strike, because they had said, okay, cool, things are going to change. Now they're like, yup, things are going to change, but fucking Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., you're going to fucking sit over there and you're going to sit over there. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Um, yeah. So, thoughts?
um. Definitely trying to word this without sounding like I'm a bad guy here. It's
Look,
good that they're trying to embed QA into their
yeah,
systems. Definitely good
100%.
there.
100%. I think that every company should have embedded QA.
Mhm.
That is a hands down thing. Hire people who know what the fuck they're talking about or have worked their way up in that fucking particular pod. You worked in art, you get to a position where you get embedded and you work directly with those engineers.
Yep.
That is a great system.
Yep. Um, as far as the way they wound up doing it, of taking everybody and splitting them up, um, obviously that was egg all over their face. I mean,
It just timing doesn't seem great.
no,
Like,
no.
like it's one of those, like, fucking, what is that, the Sherlock Holmes thing? If the simplest, or no, the Razor's Edge, the Occam's razor.
Yes.
If the simplest answer is probably the most likely answer.
Hmm.
They've been on strike for fucking 2 months. And then all of a sudden they come back and they're like, oh, look at that. Everything's just magically worked out as soon as we got purchased out. Like, um, the outcome is still really good.
Yes.
Yeah. This is kind of one of those. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, could it have been better? Could that have led to a new movement within more companies of QA people standing up and being like, "Dude, this is fucking bullshit. You pay me fucking 7 M&Ms and $6 a month." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because kind of feels like that was like you basically just beat down an insurrection
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
basically taking those people and being like, well, now you're all dukes. You have your own lands and stuff.
Mhm.
So don't you want to protect those higher ups that are higher than you? Like, a little sus.
Yeah, definitely a little sus. It's not something that's very good. Like you said, as far as the timing, it's not very good, and how everything just happened to so easily fall. Yeah,
Magically.
magic.
Yeah,
To just
exactly.
easily fall into place there. It's like, yeah,
Imagination.
it's like,
Like,
no, something doesn't seem right here.
yeah, I'm fucking 40 years old. Magic isn't a real thing. And trust me, like anything that seems sus probably is on some level or another.
Hmm.
But again, do you applaud the 34 like now lords who are higher than the serfs? Yes, you do, because you clearly, you stood up, you fucking, you made your shit and okay, cool. Like like how do you fucking shit on those dudes,
Yeah, well, okay. For starters, you applaud them as long as they don't turn to the dark side. Because as soon as they do that, it's like, nope, nope, fuck you.
Mhm.
Give me back that applause, and now go fuck yourself. That's what it
Well, the
turns
good thing
into.
is they're still in QA, so
Yeah.
really there is no dark side to QA really until you get to like the toppy top.
And even then, it's not really a dark side.
No, it's just pointing blame at like dudes who are lower than you.
Yeah.
Like and, like you don't have like a power to make a fucking dark side decision. All you can do is just point at other people underneath you and be like, "Yeah, these were the problems." Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so
If anything, it's just standing under a umbrella in the light. It's like,
right,
meh.
right, right. I don't know. I just think that's a little weird. Again, congratulations. At least like I do like the embedded program. I can't believe that we have to, in literally 2022, still be explaining this because QA people are treated as if they are dime a dozen. They are Kleenex.
Mhm.
It does not matter. Like if you piss one off and they leave, there's three more. There, I got told this actually when I first started in the bunker at
Mhm.
EA. They were like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like, I was talking to another QA guy higher up, and he was like, it doesn't matter if you don't like and or accept the conditions that they are giving. You can leave, and they do not care. There is literally 3 guys standing behind you in line to take this job because people think that working in QA is the same as it is to work in the video game industry, and it's not.
Nope.
So,
Totally different. Yeah,
yep.
I basically got that same speech kind of a thing when I worked for Red Storm as well.
Yeah.
It basically was a thing of day one, or well, not day one, but when apparently after we all after a select number of us got paired up with certain development teams, and I was actually
Mhm.
one of those that got paired up with a team. After one of the other testers pissed off their development team to the point where they then went back to the person in charge of the contract hires, which we were, and said, this guy gone.
Yeah.
So they just gathered up the rest of the contract hires and were like, you guys, if you don't want to be here, let us know. We will fire you right now.
Yeah.
If
There's the door.
you don't want to work cooperatively with your developers or with each other, depending on where you are in the building and whatnot, what task you have, let us know. We will escort you out the building
Show
right
you.
now.
Yep. Yep.
And you will be replaced within a matter of about an hour. And it's
Yep.
like, yeah.
That's just how it is.
Mhm.
And I know that like QA eats a lot of shit. I eat a lot
Yes.
of shit. You eat a lot of shit. Like, but man, I had a fucking dogged determination to be in this industry.
Mhm.
And so every fucking fresh new pile of shit that they put in front of me, I ate it. I didn't always smile, but I ate it. And I worked twice as hard to not like fuck it, dude. Like I am in. This is what the routine is. I did not have a piece of paper. I do not have a fancy degree. I had to work really fucking hard to get where I am. So, and that's just the option I had because I didn't come in like a special boy on a golden fucking platter. I'm just some scrub. Like, like just is what it is.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I feel bad. And I always want to support my QA brethren, like probably until the day I die,
Mhm.
frankly.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like I will, but they do not think of you as the same. You are not a development team member, and even once you are will still be marred for several years because of where you came from.
Mhm. Very
That
much
is
so.
the sad state of the world.
Yep.
Like, yeah,
And yet, also at the same point in time, the amount of times we save developers'
oh yeah,
hides,
oh yeah,
product, company rep, things like that,
yep.
and we're just told, "Yep, get back to work."
Nice job. Here's your
Yeah.
$6.
Yep.
Like, ugh, God, what a fucking thankless
It's
goddamn
harsh.
job, dude.
Yeah.
It's a thankless job. It
Yeah.
is QA is thankless.
Mhm.
Like that is working in a coal mine. Like,
Yep.
just is what it is. Christ, man. Ugh. And I'm not saying we should kill the bourgeoisie. Like, you know what I'm
No.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No. No.
I'm
No.
not saying that. I'm just saying, for the love of God, can we get some fucking like kind of equalish rights?
Yeah,
Like,
that,
God
and
damn.
also as far as working in QA in the video game industry, it's not all glitz and glamour that everyone thinks it is.
Not even close.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
hate that movie, fucking Grandma's Boy. I hate that movie. Literally.
okay.
It annoys me to no end.
Yeah.
But because it just perpetuates that stereotype
Yeah,
that
it
it
does.
is that you're just playing games. How could that be hard? It's like fuck you. You have no idea what it
Hmm.
is to be like in like literally the lowest rung position and then the lowest fucking quadrant of making video games. Like, and here's your name in white text after 17 and a half minutes of other credits. And the first time I saw mine, I was like, yes, yes. Like, I was really excited, you know?
Yep.
Fuck, man.
Yep. Same here.
Just
Same
gotta,
here, dude.
just, just gotta be willing to fucking fight for it until the end, baby.
Hmm.
And if you're talented, you will rise to the top. That's just all there is to it. Hard
Yep.
work
Yep.
always does make it. All right. So, uh, that one. I have a super fast one. Do you want
Okay.
to do a super fast one?
Sounds good.
Um, Game Pass announced 2 days ago they've passed 25 million active subscribers across both Xbox and PC. Holy shit, man. Good lord. 25
Kudos.
mil 25 million times 13, $14 a month.
Yeah.
That's a month.
Yeah.
Holy shit. No wonder they were like, whatever. $70 billion. It's fine. We'll get that shit back. Like,
Yep.
god damn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
when once it goes through, they can sit there and be like, "Hey, look, remember all those Call of Duty games you
right,
liked? Guess what?
right.
Whoop,
They're
you
all on
got them
here.
all."
Like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy town.
Hmm.
PlayStation's gonna show up to the fucking like fight. They're gonna show up to the battlefield with a fucking a butter knife and a fucking dinner plate. Like, let's fight. Fucking Xbox isn't even on the battlefield. They're at home polishing their trophy that they won like 3 years ago because you weren't on the battlefield. Like, oh yeah, no, that is unfortunate.
No, no. See, I was gonna sit there and say, Sony's gonna show up on the battlefield with a hovercraft, and then go up the building.
Right, right. and then through the building, and then
Yeah.
right down throughout the geometry. Like, anyways, all right, go ahead.
Uh, for those of you who don't get the reference, go back about a month, about 4 or 5 episodes. We talked about Battlefield 2 or Battlefield 2042, where you could
Nope.
drive hovercrafts up the side of buildings.
Still can.
Oh, you still can? They didn't patch it
No,
yet. Oh,
no.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yep.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, I've got a really funny one here. Especially if you go and watch the video, the YouTube video of this or Twitch highlight video, whatever it is. But there is a Super Mario Odyssey speedrunner by the name of Doug, who, I mean, he's got like an hour, a little over an hour for any percent speed run of Super Mario Odyssey, which is very respectable.
Mhm.
But he decided he needs to do something to make the speed run harder, but not like do a whole nother category kind of
Okay.
challenge. So he decided every 5 minutes I'm gonna spin a wheel that has like
I saw that.
75 different games on it, and
The
I'm gonna
HUD.
grab like most of the UI elements from that game, overlay it onto the stream, and then basically overlay it into OBS, and then play the game that way. Every
The
5 minutes, he added a new thing.
I saw the end of it. It was basically you couldn't see what the fuck was even going on screen.
Yes.
But that's a really cool idea. I can't believe that nobody's ever thought of that before.
Yeah.
And that must have taken him a lot of work because he had to have grabbed all those HUDs prior as their own individual layers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then had them like put onto his OBS. That's a lot of work for like a stream. Like I know that like not everybody streams and shit, but that's a pain in the ass.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
like he's basically getting um like a Photoshop version. You know when you like get something from Photoshop,
Mhm.
how it has the gray boxes
Yep.
when it's a clear cell,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah, he had to do that for all those HUDs.
Mhm.
That's a ton of work.
He did none
Um,
of it in advance. This,
oh, you
this
serious?
was all.
He was doing it live?
Yes, this was all
Oh my
one
god.
stream
What a
that he did it
maniac.
in.
That is
He,
amazing.
it was five. It was about 5 hours later that he finally finished.
Oh my god.
The speed run time was 2 hours 30 minutes and 3 seconds.
Mhm.
So
That's
half the time of this entire speed run was him
oh
grabbing images of whatever game, cropping out the UI elements,
yep.
adding them in, moving them around so he can
Yeah. See, that's
kind of
awesome.
see.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's absolutely brilliant.
It also didn't help that the first game that he spun, uh, old school RuneScape,
Oh my god. What the fuck? Why would you even put that on there?
and I'm pretty certain the photo he grabbed was one where the person had the inventory open, so it
Oh,
was like this from like about here over was
just fucking
completely
boxes.
was completely and totally like taken up, and it's just like, okay, well now I've completely blocked off a third of my vision, so
To be fair, that is a brilliant idea for a stream.
yes.
Because I'm sure he got a ton of follows, a ton of fucking subs, a ton of fucking donations. Because that is really fucking A, unique and brilliant, and B, I've never fucking even heard of anyone even thinking of that before, you know?
Yep.
And innovators in like that kind of category, man, you get fame for that shit. So good on you, bro. Like, good stuff.
Mhm.
I would never fucking do that. Holy shit. That's really funny. I
It's
would have overthought it. I would have had him already pre-lit. I would have had everything on the wheel already pre-cut. That's what I would have
okay.
done. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
And then, okay, this one, click, click, that filter is now on. I would have just, undid the, the eyeball with the
Yep.
stupid, like,
Yeah.
because I'm an overthinking piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yep. The funny thing is though, every single time he added a new UI element, to the screen, he extended the name of the game he was playing.
Oh, to like add RuneScape at the end?
Yes.
Like, that's very smart. That's
So
very smart.
so the end result was Legend Lego of old school Final Grand Elder Star World Zelda Warcraft Kingdom Call of Dark Half Breath Raid of Animal Shadow. Dude, it's literally a whole paragraph, and at the very
That's
end,
awesome.
at the
That's
very end,
funny.
it's a version number of like 20 digits long.
That's funny. Yeah, no, see, that's funny.
Yeah,
Like, that is genuinely good content creation right there. That
yeah,
is just good. Like, I'm a speedrunner. How do I make something, mine, something unique? I love people like that. Like,
mhm.
good on you. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's funny.
And I'm gonna drop a
Oh,
link to the video in both our chats just in case
oh,
anybody
nice.
wants to actually
Yeah,
watch the whole thing.
I skipped right to the end, and the fucking screen was a nightmare. I was like, what the fuck?
Yes,
Like,
yes, it was an
uh,
absolute nightmare, and yet
yeah,
it was so cool to see because it's just like, wow,
yeah.
someone's gonna have a really big set of balls to try and do that again.
Yeah, see, but that's what's cool about good content creation, right? Like, nobody's ever going to try to do that again. He might be able to go, okay, let's do it again and, refine some things and make it like maybe have those pre-made if I was to add a suggestion.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
because then you could still do the speed run ostensibly because like you're adding a lot of time, like, and yes,
True.
it is a funny joke, but like, if you had it all pre-done, you could be like clickety clickety, like, all right, fucking,
Yeah.
um, but that is an absolutely brilliant idea.
Hmm.
Shit, you could even have fucking like GIF versions where they're moving. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like, oh god, what a nightmare! Like, it's already like taking up 87%, and everything's moving. Like, health meters going up and down, fucking hearts coming in and out. Like, God, talk about visual vomit.
Yeah, the running gag throughout most of it actually, because it was like the third or fourth game, he wound up getting Risk of Rain.
Hmm.
So the part of the image that he grabbed, the person was only like 2 minutes into a match of Risk of Rain, so it was on easy difficulty.
Ah,
So the running gag was he was just playing on easy mode.
fine, it's easy mode. Who
Yeah,
gives a shit? Stop making this harder than it's supposed to be.
yeah, with his 47 health bars.
Hmm.
It's like what?
That's really funny.
Uh,
Um, we probably should stop. I have one more that's fun that I'd like to talk about.
okay,
And then we have one that's way more serious, and I don't want to talk about that right now because we're already 2 hours in.
okay,
I'll save it for next week, though.
okay.
Thankfully, it was the number one thing that I wrote down. Um, so the creator of Final Fantasy, Hinobu Sakaguchi, uh, really created his own Final Fantasy 14 clothing label called Sakaguchi, Gucci.
Okay.
Um, and he's been showing off shit on Twitter, and he is literally going to make Final Fantasy fashion, Final Fantasy 14 fashions.
Interesting.
Yeah, could be really cool. I always love shit like that, like, cross promotional shit. And I love the idea of um making something out of a game from a game. But yeah, I just thought that was really fucking neat. I checked it out. It looked good. Some of that shit looks really cool. A lot of bunny ears and stuff. Shocking absolutely no one.
Yeah, yeah. That literally should shock no one.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat. So I don't know. I don't play enough of it to warrant me buying anything from it, which is annoying.
Yeah.
But if you play 14, check it out.
Cool. Very cool.
Yep.
And the last thing I'm gonna quick throw out there, mainly because it is just a quick announcement that literally found right before we went live, basically. Death's Gambit.
Hmm.
It's getting into DLC.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Huh.
New DLC Ashes of Vados is coming to PC on February 10th. It will come to Switch, PS4, PS5 later this spring.
Is it paid?
It does not mention it.
Huh. Interesting.
So that will be very interesting. And Death's Camp in general is, and all the contents will be coming to Xbox in spring as well.
Oh, nice. Nice. And good to see that team able to keep expanding.
Yeah, yeah.
That means they're making some good monies.
Yep, especially considering how it is the next game that I am trying to speedrun.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. All right. So go say goodbye.
Sounds good.
All right. I will be right back.
Alrighty. But that'll be it, guys. That is it for tonight. I thank you all for being here. Tomorrow, if there is a stream, don't know if there is going to be one yet. I may do tomorrow and Thursday off. I may not. Don't know. If there is one, though, I will be playing Dark Souls 3 Convergence mod. Because, like I said, there's like 14, 15, 16 bosses still to go in that game. And it'd be nice to get through everything before Elden Ring drops, whenever that'll be. Well, not whenever, but definitely on the 25th. Whether it is online enabled by then, who knows? We'll find out. But one thing's for certain, guys, when we do find out, we will talk about it here.